No spoilers yet, don't worry. I will have a segment in the beginning half where I will very explicitly say that there are no spoilers, and then a segment at the end where there are spoilers. So if you still want to see the movie, you have time to go see it in theaters, or if you're waiting for the YouTube release, whatever, you still got time. General summary would probably be that it was really good. I suggest people go watch it, especially if you are fans of the show. I don't think this is something to skip for any reason, and I think you'll have a really good time watching it just like I did. I feel very, very emotionally satisfied with how the show concluded. I think there are two real exceptions to that statement, is that one, managed expectations were kind of weird. So I was going into it expecting a ton of lore and like super fleshed out stuff, and I didn't get that, and that's fine, and I will explain in the spoiler section why. But the other reason was because of the goddamn recap. This did it a lot more tastefully than usual, but what has been happening recently is things that have blown up, say JJK, and specifically the one that I'm referencing will be JJK, but this one as well, the Amazing Digital Circus, are primarily episode-based series. They have like a finale or a premiere for the new season that hits theaters. But in that finale, when they're in theaters, oh boy. My big problem is that I keep going into this stuff not expecting a recap, and then I get like a full recap. And I'll keep this brief, but the JJK one was a lot more egregious. I went into that fully catching up on all of season 2, a very long, very good season. And then the entire, like, almost 2/3 of the movie, basically like half the movie or more, was all recap. All recap. Every single bit of it. And it was still good. It was still great. It was still good. It was still great. But I just wasn't expecting that going in. Silly me, I was going to a movie expecting a movie. So the Amazing Digital Circus was a little bit like that, where they had a big recap, basically catching you fully up on where we are, because they played, I'm pretty sure, the entire previous episode, which was good. I loved it. It was great. It was good to see it on theaters. I think it really brought things to life, having it like in my face a little more. That was nice. Before we get into the spoiler section, I would like to talk about the theater experience a little bit. I did go into this expecting more of a Minecraft vibe, and we kind of got it. We got the little usual cringy clapping at the end of the movie where people are like, and popping off because of it. That's great. It was a lot less egregious than that, which is I'm appreciative for. But the other thing that was happening is these two people to our left just wouldn't shut the fuck up. And it would have been more of a problem for me if I hadn't gone into this already expecting that. Like, I managed my expectations for this pretty well, where I'm literally going into the movie, I'm expecting people to either talk or have mildly bad manners, and just kind of enjoy the movie in their own way, I guess, to be very, very polite to those people. But, my God, they would not stop theory crafting the entire time. Something would happen, and they'd be like, and they'd pop the hell off. It's like, okay, we can chill. You could talk just a little softer, or just stop talking. We are now in the spoiler section of the video. This is your one warning. I did have a thought going into this where I was very tempted, because this is what I was assuming going into the final episode, is that they were going to kill Jax. One of the things I really wanted to do was schedule a tweet for before I went into the showing that posts 2 hours later saying, wow, look at that, they killed Jax, and just kind of pre-call it, but I didn't end up doing that because I didn't want to spoil it for anybody. But to start, oh my God, I love Gangle so much. Gangle is easily my favorite character of the entire show. I cry the hardest when Gangle's on screen, and Gangle just makes a lot of sense. I love that character so much, and their voice actor is so good. They are easily one of my favorite like characters of media in recent memory. And I think that the way that character is handled is very, very cute. I love that character so much. I easily cried the hardest when Gangle was on screen, which was saying something, because there were a lot of other really big, hard-hitting moments. And nope, I'm sticking with the Gangle one. Another thing I thought was really cool is Kane, holy aura. Obviously, throughout the entire show, he has insane presence. He's always around. He's literally God and stuff. But it was really cool to see him not fully demonized in the last, like, finale episode. Because I was genuinely going into this expecting like, oh, well, we are not going to see him. He is dead. To give context, where I left off with the Amazing Digital Circus was I binge watched all of the episodes up till 8. And then I watched the Wendingoon, like, lore video where they're like, he's comparing it from I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream to the actual media itself, and draws parallels between them. And that was really, really cool. But that's where I was kind of expecting them to go, where they're like, oh my God, it's going to get worse. It's going to be hard. They're going to have to kill Kane in order to get over this and escape and all this stuff. And that was my theory crafting going into it. I was like, okay, that's probably a very reasonable route to take. But it was really cool. They kept Kane around, and not killing him was really, really neat. And to see him, like I was mentioning this after the show when I was walking out, I was like, the entire experience was you're seeing Kane develop new feelings and emotions over time the entire show. So to discredit that by just killing him would be very, very, I don't know, it would feel like a waste of his character. Because instead what they chose to do was continue his character growth, but just revert the direction, which I thought was really neat. They gave him a lot of growth, they made him friendly, all this stuff. Also, holy aura from him breaking the glass. Literally so cool. Cheesy Michael. Another thing I'm hammering on now, I'm back to the lore part. There was very little lore explanation in this. I was expecting to go into this movie and basically figure out all of what CA was, how they were going to get out, all of the like technical details, and they basically fed you next to nothing of that. They summarized it a little bit by mentioning brain scans, but they really they did not go deep on any of the lore explanations at all. To counter that point though, they did provide a lot of lore, but it was not technical stuff, which is like how the world was created and all, and how did they get here, how do we escape, all this like nitty gritty details. What they did explain, I loved. What they included, I really, really loved, and what they left out, I also really, really love, because it keeps the focus on a lot of the characters and what makes the show really good. By leaving out like a lot of the technical details, it focuses you on the intricacies of each of the characters, because they're really well done. They are flushed out, they are phenomenally written, they're well designed. All of this stuff is where the attention of the show should be. I have 3 little points that I'd like to finish making here. They just killed Jax. And I called that going into it, which was very, very fun, but I had a really good time, because not only did they kill him, but which was, I guess, supposed to happen. I liked that they went that route. That's what I was expecting. That fulfilled myself. But also, in the process of doing so, they made me give a fuck about the character again. I didn't think I was going to do that. I had basically wiped my hands of giving a fuck about Jax, because I was like, all right, this guy's just kind of an asshole. But no, he's kind of cool. And then they kind of revealed even more. Where it's like, okay, he's just kind of murdered. He just kind of murdered 3 people. Also, one of the other things I thought was very, very weird is that they just never addressed Bubble, which is so fucking funny, because another one of the theories going into it that a lot of people were touting was that, like, Bubble is this virus that was, like, taking revenge on Kane or whatever, and Bubble was literally, like, the cause of Kane's death to some extent. That idea never even floated. It sunk so goddamn fast. There was no Bubble in this last episode besides, like, a mention of Kane with a Bubble, and that's it. It wasn't even Bubble the character. Bubble died. And it was so funny, in the actual theater, my brother was trying to explain to it, like, when the entire thing wrapped up, he said, like, Bubble is, like, this manifestation of Kane and is part of him, ergo, and I stop him right there, and I'm like, don't you dare say ergo as if you're a scholar in this theater of the Amazing Digital Circus. I'm gonna want you to pump the brakes real quick, bud. Just look at your surroundings for a second. We can cool it with the language. Let's dumb it down, bring it back to Neanderthal speak. Finally, one of the last things I really wanted to bring up was the frog. Ribbit. Twitter has taken a liking to the frog, unsurprisingly. As Twitter does with any character that you slap a mild hip shape and, like, figure on, they have kind of gone a little wild. I kept seeing, when I opened my phone that night on Twitter, if I scroll for, like, more than a few posts, I'll see not only just, like, people glazing the movie or, like, being like, oh, that was kind of weird, not what I was expecting, but I saw a lot of posts about the frog being hot, so that's great. Twitter's just as my asthma that will not stop sexualizing characters no matter what. But yeah, that's about it for my recap of the entire, like, event and stuff. I had a really good time watching it. I had a lot of fun. I cried quite a lot at the movie. I cry at movies. It's just a thing I do. I'm not going to stop. It's not going to change. But I had a really good time, and I hope you liked the video. This is a really, really cute recap of just something a little bit more personal that I did. So very, very cool. If you liked it, enjoy. I have no more comments for the end of the video. So peace out.